CharCon Charleston, and we're going to try to get an actual battle going. And I'm going to, I've got my contacts in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and that way it'll be more of a close to home setting. And if you want to do that, that'd be a good first one.
I'm going to CharCon every year, so.
So I mean, it'll be a good first setting if you want to check it out. But and you'll definitely get that sense there. And when you talk to people from out of state who've been doing this for 20 years, you'll definitely get a feel for how things are going. But so just to go over some of the stuff that I have up here. We'll start out with swords. We have a couple different styles up here, and weapons vary, but these are considered what they call blue. Blue is a weapon class, and it's basically a short weapon. It can break through armor after 2 hits. Cannot break shields. You also have reds, which are anything over 4 foot that weigh at least 24 ounces.
At least that long.
And they cut straight through armor like it's not even there. And they break shields after 2 hits.
And they have to be wielded with 2 hands?
They have to be wielded with 2 hands. You also have green weapons, which are anything stabbing. Swords can be stabbing. They can have a green tip and blue blade. Then you have straight stabbing like spears and daggers, things like that. There's yellow, which are projectile weapons. There are javelins and there are bows. You can also use crossbows, but that's like a unicorn to people who fight Dagorhir because it is almost impossible to build a crossbow to their specs. I'm actually fighting that right now because their rule is ridiculous. They want no more than 35-pound draw at 12 inches with a crossbow, which is impossible. The bolt falls off the end. It has to be at least 60 pounds, and it has the same impact because of how the drag off the arrow comes off the crossbow. You have a lot more drag on a crossbow bolt than you do an arrow. So, but anyways, I'm rambling. But
so what's the poundage on a bow then?
35. So it's the same as crossbow, which is, like I said, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, bows are a very widely used thing in Dag. And like I said, 35 pounds at 28-inch draw. If you're within 20 feet of somebody, you have to half draw, which happens and doesn't happen. Again, it's a game of honor, so it's something that
if you really don't like somebody,
it's something that happens, and accidents do happen too. The first battle I actually went to, I got my nose broken. I was behind a shield wall, and I popped my head up for just a second as an archer loosed an arrow to shoot a guy way behind me, and it hit me right in the nose. And so that put me down for a few minutes. But headshots but that was a legal shot. Projectiles are allowed to hit you in the head. Javelins and arrows and rocks are just balls of foam, and they only count to the head. But if you're wearing a helmet, they do nothing. So, a lot of people in DAG just wear helmets, and they don't even have to worry about rocks. So, and then there are black weapons, which are siege weapons. They're ridiculously hard to make, meet the minimum amount of standards that Dagorhir has. But black weapons are pretty cool if you get them, used, like catapults and ballistas. And I've even seen people with cannons, because black powder, according to the timeline, it did exist. So cannons were allowed. But of course, you can't use real black powder to shoot a foam rock. So they have different things.
like air-powered.
Yeah, like I've seen air-powered cannons, and they're kind of ridiculous. And the only thing that they check for when they go to a battle is does it look, period, does it hit safely, and so you can get some interesting stuff when it comes to siege weapons. But
So you can make Cameron showed me a battering ram. It's basically a big puffy pillow
on a stick, yeah.
And 5 people carry, and it'll go into a shield wall, and 5 people behind knock everybody down.
It's there's certain things too for certain scenarios, and when you go out of state, people have different battles they run. So, sometimes you have a relic battle, sometimes it's just a big wall battle, sometimes you're capturing a point, and so there's a lot of variance in how you fight and what kind of scenarios you're in. So it kind of keeps changing, So you're never dull, It's never a dull moment when you go to a battle. But you get, he's talking about the battering ram. That's something that's really unique, and people are always trying to come up with unique things in our sport to kind of change it up and make it more fun. And but it's interesting when you go and you get that experience of hanging out with people you've never met and fighting them, and really going after it. And then after that, you hang out and if you're a drinker, you drink, and you make friends that, like I said, will never go away. And I think that's a big turning point for all of us. And we've had some people that have actually turned their life around doing DAG. We had one boy. He was really shy, and he was a gamer, and that's all he did. He would go to school, come home, and sit in front of a TV and play video games. And he was a high schooler. In the sport, you have to be 16 or older to participate. And 16 and 17-year-olds have to have the parents' consent, because there is a waiver form you have to sign because it's a physical sport. But anyways, his mom, we talked to her, and I told her, it's a great thing. He's going to get physical activity, and we practice 3 times a week, and he's going to make friends here. So he came out, and he was shy at first and kind of leery about everything. And by the time we were done with him, he joined the Air Force. Mm-hmm. He joined the Air Force. He graduated with honors. He went to school through the Air Force, and now he is a nuclear technician.
And he was the leader of our team before he left.
Yeah, I don't even know what he does exactly with the nuclear stuff, because he's not allowed to tell us. So, but he's doing really well for himself.
He works over down there at Skull Mountain Industries.
Maybe. But
he kind of went the different way than thought.
the more evil route. Well, we are an evil unit, apparently.
But before he'd gotten out of his shell, all he had planned to do was just to be at home, just to keep doing what he was already doing.
Yeah, and now he lives in California, which is kind of a stretch for him anyways. I mean, that's kind of a really, it's kind of a social place to even live. And he was so scared of everything when he first started.
Yeah.
And through fighting and conversing with us and going to battles and meeting new people, it really, really brought him out of his shell and became a better person for it. I mean, he's doing really well for himself now, and he's
shoot better than most of us.
And he is one of his officers when he was graduating. For him to go into the testing he was doing, he had to be. It's almost like an interview. He had to have people as references for that, and he gave them my number and told them why, and that I was the leader of the realm of the Dagorhir unit he was in. And so I had this hour-and-a-half long conversation with his sergeant or whoever it was about the whole sport and everything we did. And
so did he call you sir or your liege or your royal high?
I don't remember. He didn't crack anything wise about it really. He was very genuinely interested in what it was that turned that guy's life around so much. It's definitely a good thing. Everything about what we do is good, and the camaraderie you get, and just the outdoor time is something that, because I know all of us, I love tabletop games, I love gaming, and if I didn't do DAC, I would probably go to work and come home and sit all day. That's how I am, but I found a different kind of release in Dagorhir.
You guys are located in Weston?
We have quite a few units actually. We have Clay, which is our closest unit to Charleston.
We're actually from Elkins. So.
Oh, are you? Well, we have Weston, we have Clarksburg, Fairmont area, we have Morgantown, we have a group in Ohio, but
Webster
we have
Springs.
Webster Springs, and we also have Glenville. But they practice every Saturday, the Weston guys do. And actually Mike and Chucky, who are at Analog all the time, they spar around with us sometimes. And we were actually trying to get a unit going in Buchanan too, which is kind of, was spotty for a while, but I'd like to get it going again. We're always looking to expand, and
There's apparently a big LARP organization like at the Elkins High School and stuff. If you guys want to head a little further east, that might help you expand as well.
yeah,
But last I heard, because I used to run the GameStop over there,
Hmm.
and last I talked to them, they had one of the high school teachers in on it, and they would actually let them use the auditorium in the high school. for all
Wow,
their
that is
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
We tried like crazy to do that in Clay, but the principal thought we were, Satan worshipers
Yeah.
Because we're bad guys.
because we're bad guys in DAG.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
she thought we were
Bad guys.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's not really a good guy, bad guy thing in DAG. Sometimes when you go to a battle, they'll say, here's the scenario, good versus evil. And so we always go to the evil side because there's not as many people there. So it's,
We like the
it's,
challenge.
yeah, we like the challenge.
Also, watch out for wood elves.
Oh, look out for what else.
They're,
They're more evil than us. That's bad. They're dirty.
I mean, they'll tie you to a tree and
Oh,
Take your stuff.
take your stuff, and yeah, they're bad. We've just getting back into the whole gear thing. We just recently started making and selling weapons as well. This is actually, it was going to be a commission sword, but I've been using it and beating it up, so I'm not going to sell it to the person.
Time to make another one.
Yeah, so I'm making them, but we do plasti dip work, and we literally can do anything. And we, normally we're all stick jockeys, so we love to sling foam. We don't need it to look pretty, so we just do simple builds like this. It's efficient. It's not flashy. It does the job. It's sturdy.
It's not gonna break.
It's not going to break. Not to say that these would, but you're going to scratch paint. You're going to, if you're fighting somebody in steel plate armor, you hit them with this, it's going to put gouges in it because it's foam. I mean, it is what it is. So if we kind of just steer away from the pretty stuff, and we just like to fight. So, but as I was talking about earlier, DAG is, you can do whatever you want. And if you want to role play. If you're just there to party it up. If you want to go out and sling foam. And you can literally do anything with it you want to do, and have a great time doing it. So.
Anything new you can think up that you want to do is accepted. People will let you do
also
anything.
during downtime, sometimes you'll find people playing Magic. Or
Yeah.
We do a lot of gaming at events.
Yeah.
What, RP people play Magic?
anytime
they're together? That's
anytime.
never happened.
I remember one day it was raining on the battlefield, and when it rains,
Those 5 RVs.
yeah, when it rains, you don't fight because this cloth right here
Weighs
turns into
15
a
pounds.
yeah, it turns into a brick. So you don't swing it when it rains. So we all huddled up in one tent, and we were all like playing Magic on our laps and stuff, But it's all about having a great time. That's what it comes down to. You get together with friends and you have a great time. I mean, there's some days we'll call for a practice. Well, we won't even practice. We'll go and shoot the shit for 2 hours. And
if
just,
we haven't seen each other in like 3 weeks,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
get anything done. We're just like,
yeah, hey, what's up? I missed you. But so I'm gonna get into some of the shield stuff here real quick. Shields are interesting. They can be as heavy or light as you want them to be. They can be made out of a lot of different materials. This one right here, big tower shield. Tower shields are considered top of the foot to the bottom of the chin. So pretty much meets it for me. They're only allowed to be 3 foot wide. They're always around 3 foot wide. You can make a barrel shield, which wraps completely around you. And they're only allowed to measure from on the face of it. So as you can see it,
Yeah.
they put a tape measure out, and as long as that barrel on the
It's like
sides
3
is
feet
3
skinny.
feet, yeah, you can use it. we've gone to these because they're angled, and you hardly ever see anybody use an angled shield, strictly for the fact that they're hard to wield. But we've gotten to the point where we can use them really well, and when you're fighting a spearman, if they spear at your shield, because a lot of spearmen are strictly there for support, yeah, it just slips right off, so they can't control your shield to open it up for somebody else to hit you. And they're also very good for punching holes in big lines of people. So you just run at them.
ram people?
Oh yeah.
There's shield charges, shield kicking.
Shield
to do this.
Shield
Grapples,
charging, kicking, grapples, all
Kicking 1 foot on the ground.
that. Yeah, you can keep 1 foot on the ground. The ogre I was telling you about.
You'll
The giant,
flying moonsault somebody.
he did. There was this little guy running across the battlefield straight at ogre, and I have no clue why. And
He's gonna go between his legs is his
Yeah.
plan.
he had
That's standing on him.
he had a plywood cord shield, and it doesn't matter what thickness of plywood it was because ogre wears a size 18 boot. You're not going to stop that. Kid comes running, and ogre goes, boom, caves the kid's shield in, knocked him out cold. And it's just like, oh, did he just do that? Did that just happen? And so.
Then he dropped the elbow on him.
Yeah, the people's elbow. No, I mean, ogre felt really bad after he did it. He was like, I'm so sorry. And then he's got this big, deep, booming voice that you can hear all the way across the battlefield. It's just crazy.
I will take care of him and hug him and squeeze him and name him.
So,
Ogre took a couple good ones in that battle too, like when I rolled him.
yeah, and one of our smallest guys, he's black belt in karate and jiu-jitsu. He's a wiry little redhead, and he came to me, his mouth was bloody, and he said, I need your help climbing a mountain. And I was like, what? So I follow him, we're running, he's running full bore. And he had these commas at the time. And I was like, what is he doing? He's running straight at ogre, I don't understand. And so we go barreling at him. Ogre takes that big sword and swings it sideways. I block it with my shield and wrap my arms around him and just hold onto his wrist as hard as I could, trying to, keep Garen from getting hit. And ogre has me with I weigh 250 pounds, and he picks me up like this and swinging me like a child. And
I'm on the other side of the field like, no way!
and Garen puts 1 foot on his shield, hooks the top of his shield with his comma, because he has a tower shield, and he's 7 foot tall, so this
Shin to the ankle.
Yeah, shin to the ankle. His shield is huge. Garen hooks it and pulls himself up, wraps his arm around his head, and starts hitting him in the back as hard as he could. And ogre, laughing, was like, "Oh, I'm dead. You got me." And it was great. I mean, we live for moments like that. Great things happening.
And then he's hunted us down after that to come talk to us. He's like,
Yeah.
you guys are great.
Yeah.
I'm thinking fastball special with those two. Work that out.
I don't know. It's. I
Bring
think he
it into
could. He
attack.
could.
In fact, just dress up Ogre as the catapult.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and you just sling people. We actually did that under battle. The rules. There was this chasm, and the castle was on the other side. And there was only one way in to get this relic, and they were explaining the rules to us, whatever. And we were like, we weren't joking. They thought we were. We were like, so can we throw people across the chasm? Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay.
How big of a chasm, by the way, are we talking?
It was like from the chair to the wall. And so we had a guy with a big plywood shield,
I was trying to jump that.
posted it like this, and one of our smaller guys ran up it and jumped over the chasm. And I thought they were going to crap their pants. They just didn't expect it to be really something we would try.
Because there's only one way across, and they've got their whole team just funneling in.
Yeah, just piled right there.
And then they see him, and like 6 people are like, "Oh shit!" and spin to go fight him.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's a lot of interesting things that you get into, a lot of fun, things that you get to talk about for years after. I mean, we've been doing this for 6 years now, and I mean, there's stories from the first battles we went to, and
Days of stories. We could just tell stories
for days. Yeah. Let me see your shield, Johnny. So I was talking about plywood shields earlier. You're allowed to have plywood shields. You're allowed to bolt straps in them. You can't feel them you're not allowed to feel them on the other side, of course. But everything has to be padded safely. And what they'll do is you have to run everything through weapons check before the battle. And if it's a weekend event or Ragnarok, which is a week long, it's crazy.
A couple thousand people.
Yeah, you have to check it every day. And what they'll do is they'll take the shield and they'll hit it like this, and they'll make sure it's safe because you're allowed to edge with your shields. They'll check it, make sure it's safe in the back. Like this had to be done to protect his hands, of course. And then they'll hit the front like this. If it smacks or something like that, they'll fail it because the DAP isn't adhered or whatever adhesive they use. Good thing about these is they're one piece of foam, 3-inch thick neoprene foam rubber. So you could sit on this and paddle down the river if you wanted to. Really, I mean, it's a stout shield. But you can use anything to make shields. You're not allowed to have metal in them, though. That's one thing. You're not supposed to have blades made with metal cores. You are allowed to weight with metal, and that is the only way we can get our swords up to weight because they have to weigh at least 12 ounces or 16 ounces. No, it's 12. It's 12. They have to weigh 12 ounces to pass, and in order to get them there, we weight the handles. This one right here, the whole handle is wrapped in wire to make that balance, give it that balance point, which I like to be right here. Some people like it more out to the edge. It's all about preference. But as long as it balances above the handle, then then it's okay. The rules change every year too. At Ragnarok, which is that week-long battle, it's the biggest battle in the nation every year. Like I said, it is a week-long of
Fight all day, camp all evening.
Drink all night, have a party. They have a Mardi Gras night, and if you can imagine it, it happens at Ragnarok. That's just how it is. But it's great. Like I said, it's a great time, and you go to those week-long battles and that week-long battle, and you'll see all manner of things that happen. And they check them every day, but the rules are changed. They have a war council, and all the leaders of realms, whole realms, administrators, they go and they sit on this council and they discuss the rules.
What's the difference between all the swords? Is it just the way?
It's preference. It's all preference. Some people like handguards. Some people don't. Some people want their stuff flashy. Some people don't. Some people
small handles, thick handles.
Yeah, square handles, round handles.
Triangle.
It's all what feels good to you, and anything can be done with them. So you can literally have whatever
this is
feels
more
good
well
to you.
balanced.
It comes with experience, what you like.
I don't know. I never played. I never did
It actually really helps
Yeah,
to
these-
go to battles, and people will let you just use their stuff for a couple fights just to try it out and see if you like it.
Yeah, and what we try to tell our people is all the people who were here today, they're all veterans. And we've been doing this for, like I said, for like 6 years. And but when we have new people come in, I always tell them, try everything once. Find what you like, what you're good at. If you like carrying a polearm, an 8-foot glaive, rock it. If you want to go out on the battlefield with no armor on and 2 daggers and just throw people to the ground all day, do it. If you like that, do it.
There's a team, and their characters, what are they, monkeys or
They're gorillas.
gorillas?
And they carry
Wait, do you mean guerrilla fighters or guerrilla apes?
apes. They don't talk. They're one of those really big role-playing teams. They go out and they have like movie quality gorilla suits on, every one of them. They always walk on all fours. They do not talk to each other. They talk in grunts. That's how they communicate. And when they go on the battlefield, they have a bag that hangs off of their back with brown rocks in it. And they pick them up and they throw them at people. And then they don't
Doesn't do damage, but you really don't want to get hit by it.
right? They don't do anything but grappling. They don't carry weapons on the battlefield.
Just those rocks.
They go out there, they catch people off guard, and they steal their stuff and kill them with it. And that's just how they do it. And they have a great time doing it.
They get killed a lot.
They do, but they have fun while they do it, and that's what it's really about. So,
How does the scoring work to kill you?
okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because I'm just up here, painting away. If you get hit in the arm, you lose that arm. If you get hit in the leg, you lose that leg. You have to go down to one knee. If you lose 2 limbs, you die. And in most scenarios, you respawn. You just go out and come back in, and fully, repaired.
They'll always explain the scenario before they run it.
Yeah. If you get hit from the neck down, crotch and butt are death shots. So torso area, yeah, torso area. But greens work a little differently. If you stab someone or you get shot with an arrow. So if you get hit in 3 limbs, it kills you. Because they try to keep it as real as possible. And they say if you're stabbed, it's less damaging than if you were hacked, in 2 limbs. So, which kind of makes sense, but. So like I said, they try to keep it, as realistic as possible. But yeah, usually, like as far as winning scenarios go, they're all different. So some of them are relic battles. Sometimes there's this crazy game that people in Ohio love to play where there's 4 heralds, which are the referees. 4 heralds stand back to back with a stopwatch and a pool noodle, and there are 4 teams. And your goal is to keep people away from their noodle and grab your own noodle, and the team who has a hold of their noodle for 5 minutes total time wins. That's all it takes. Right? We even have some flesh-colored noodles for that game because we love
The black one's bigger than the rest of them.
So I would want the various multicolored ones just so you know whose is whose.
There's one that has they all have cloth on the end, so you can tell, but one of them's green, and so we're like, well, that's the syphilis one. So nobody wants to be the green team.
Nobody wants to capture that.
So
Right? Be red, it became green.
Green. There you go. We do have a red one.
Yeah, that's syphilis.
Okay, well.
Some sort of shaking.
Something
I was
nasty.
wondering what I got right here.
Whatever this is.
Okay, now I was actually want to hear more about the role playing stuff, like
The role playing, okay. So when we role play, which is kind of rare for us, but everybody has their own thing. There's a group that are Romans. That's all they are. Their whole team Romans, and they role play that way. We're all demons, and when we do role play, we role play as demons, and we have a good time doing it too, because demons are just fun. Do whatever you want.
Why would your principal think that you were devil worshiper?
Right? I know, right? With all the
demon
I'm just
worshippers,
saying.
completely different alignment.
right? But we there's a lot of people who take the role play very seriously, and that's cool. I mean, there's a lot of people who just that's all they want to do, role play exactly their character and do the things that their character would do on the battlefield. And like I said before, it's as far as you want to take it. I mean, with whatever kind of role play you want to do. There are Templar Knights. There are my son actually. He comes to battles, and he is from Oblivion, the lizard people. I don't know why.
Sorry.
Was it? And also, there's with Templar Knights, they throw Bibles.
They do. They have books, yeah, and they throw those. But there are Templars that take vows of silence, and so while they're at that battle, or battles for however long they took their vow for, they do not talk.
Even in camp.
Even in camp, they don't talk to anybody. That's how devout they are to Dag. And but my son, he's a little lizard guy, so we paint his face, and he's got scales, and he's got a tail, and he runs around, and he hisses at people. And he loves it. And there are people who are, there's a guy, he got cursed, and his body is slowly turning into a tree. And so his shield is a plasti-dipped wooden fist, and he fights with a stick. Like it's a brown-covered speed bat. So it looks like he's slowly turning into a tree. And
He is Groot.
he is Groot. But yeah, they as far as role playing goes, you do it however you want, as much as you want, and everybody who does role play loves it. They follow along with it. And like I was saying about us, we're more stick jockeys, so we love the fighting aspect of it, but more than the role play. But it's there to do. It's, you know, with literally, if your mind can conceive it, you can do it.
Not,
I mean, that's
not
with
that some of our guys don't
There's a
dabble.
guy-
They do some role play stuff.
There's
a
a-
little bit.
There was a guy last year that I saw. Oh, was it? He was handicapped, had
Oh, yeah.
his hand wasn't formed right.
when you
So
from
he
birth.
made a sword or a apparatus that he could hold a sword.
And it's strapped to it. Yeah, he was born. He you know, with just like this part of his hand, and they were small, and so the whole bracket was made so that he could hold two swords and fight. He even has a shield attachment for one of them. And we actually have a guy who has cerebral palsy in our group, and we're working on making a ballista for him right now that he can fire and have it attached to his rascal so that he can actually move around the battlefield. And
He'll tear him up.
yeah, he is.
He's chomping at the bit, waiting for it too.
Yeah, and we don't discriminate. And he actually, before we took over the Fairmont area, he went to them because he wanted to do it. He wanted to go. He wanted to have a good time. And they told him no, that his wheelchair was not period. And it was ridiculous to me. I mean, that's not right. You don't do that to somebody. There are people who are like that out there, who are just jerks, I guess. And
Especially some groups.
yeah, but we took them over, so they don't even exist anymore. And we were like, hey, come on in here. We don't care what your, physical capabilities are. That doesn't matter to us. We want you to have a good time.
All you gotta do to be with us is just want to be there.
Yeah.
So how does that work as far as the realm or the regions taking over?
Well, it's not an official. It's not an official thing.
It's like if
if we
you
phase,
have to be inactive.
yeah, if they're inactive and we step in, then
We're recognized as the active team
as the active team in that
for
region.
that area.
Yeah. So it's kind of a shiesty thing, I guess. But the thing is
If
that
they're inactive.
yeah, if
It's
they're
a lot easier to turn teams under your colors to
Yeah.
get them to fight for you.
yeah,
Because if they don't have good leadership to get them in organized battles and things, and
exactly. That's exactly.
everybody
the
wants
case.
to be doing it.
Yeah, what is it? If they don't do something once a month, they're inactive.
Yeah, that's just how it is. But the as far as role playing goes, like I said, if your mind can conceive it, do it. I mean, I've seen so many different things.
Yeah.
Just elves, and there's a whole team that's dedicated to the Legend of Zelda, and every one of them is a different colored Link. And then there's Zelda, there's Sheik, Ganon, and that's just what they do. That's their realm's theme. So they do it up, they have a good time.
And they base a lot of their games around it.
Yeah, when they hold battles, it's
Triforce.
yeah, stuff like that. When we do it, we base a lot of our stuff, our lore, off of the game Oblivion and the Daedric.
Oh.
And like our battle, our big thing is the gate battle. So we drop a gate, and the humans have to fight to destroy our summoning sigil to close the gate and not allow us to respawn anymore. And our goal is to destroy their city. So, and that's where a lot of the roleplay comes into, is during the scenarios.
That's mostly the role play for us, is we base our battles around our role play.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I like about Oblivion, though. I like when you can roleplay, but I also like the balance in it too.
Yeah, and that's
I
how
like one of the balance now. Like I've actually done. I got tired of just playing the roleplay. I was like, okay, fine, time to have some fun.
Yeah, it's kind of for us. We felt like it was kind of a step up, from going from. We all played D&D and we all played Magic and all that, and then we got into when we stepped into this, not really knowing what to expect. We all role played pretty hard in the beginning too,
Yeah.
just because that's what we were used to. And then the more we got into it, the more it became it's like a second life, and then we get really competitive. And we're like, this is it. We just got to be the best group out there now. And
There's so many people that do DAG that live DAG. Like that's what they do.
all they do.
They come home from doing whatever they do DAG.
Yeah. jobs are an option for them. DAG is a must. That's
Yeah.
for real. That's how people are.
There's some teams that they'll all live together and they'll just have like 1 or 2 people working and paying the bills just so their whole team has all the time to do DAG, and then they'll just switch around. Like they'll quit their job a couple months later and somebody else will get a job.
I've seen 2 or 3 groups do that, and it works for them. I mean, if that's what they're comfortable doing, have at it. We all work, so we kind of have our responsibilities, but when it comes to hobbies, this is our main one
biggest
now, just because of everything you can do with it. I mean, if you feel like role play. If I'm mad one day and I want to go beat up nerds with foam sticks, I'm gonna go do it. And
Just so you know, we're all nerds.
That is crap you didn't work. Somebody's losing some teeth.
or if you're just in a great mood and you want to chill out and hang with friends.
It's also a great place to find people to do other stuff with, because
Yeah.
everybody plays at everything.
Yeah, when you go, it's almost like being at a convention every single time you go to a battle, because you get to talking to somebody and you're like, hey, do you play Magic? Well, yeah, I brought my deck. Well, let's play, and I got mine too, or something like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people run D&D campaigns at battles, and it's just, you can find a little bit of everything when you come to DAG, and
The fighting's a real big part, but it's all about the community.
yeah. But
What type of foam are those made out of?
different kinds.
I was expecting to feel different when you said foam. I was
I'll tell you what, I'll take one apart for you.
They pull mine apart.
Where's yours at?
It's the green handle.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, you got too much tape on yours. Look at all that tape.
They
I'm not
just do
doing that. This is easy. You can use any kind of cloth too. The only reason there's cloth on there is because the foam will actually cut the crap out of you if you get hit with it.
That'd be fun.
So it's actually 2 pound, 2 pound foam, cross-linked polyethylene. The inside that you can't see, which has strapping tape over it, that's to secure the foam around the cord, make it sturdier. That foam is 4 pound mini cell polyethylene. So it's a lot sturdier, a lot stiffer, and that's why we put it on the inside layer to cushion the impact of the actual core. This is a 1/2 inch fiberglass, solid fiberglass core that's in this. Some of them up here are 3/8 inch fiberglass cores. A lot of people use PVC. I don't like using PVC because it breaks. It just does. It wears down, it breaks.
Especially when you block.
Yeah, your swords are bulky. These are sleek, and they're even more sturdy. You wield them a lot faster. But they're stout. I have a sword that I've had for the past 2.5 years, built like this. And a lot of people, they run through swords. They're building one.
Yeah, they'll build multiple sets of gears just for one season.
Yeah, and we don't like to do that because we're all poor. Well, we don't want to do that. So we build swords that last. But there's a lot of people, even people who do cosplay, are turning to us now for because we have a thing. It's called Oblivion Forge, and we build weapons for people, and any kind of weapon, shields, all that. I wish I could have had some pictures. I was ill prepared for this, and I'm terribly sorry for that. But we build round shields now, which are completely plastic dipped. We actually did the shield from Skyrim that has the bear on it. We did that for a guy. It was a Viking shield. It had a boss in the middle of the punch shield, all plastic dipped, wood grain, looked beautiful. And we've been doing that here a lot lately, shields. But we just got an order for a cosplay sword, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the lightning sword from Final Fantasy. It's gonna be
Good luck.
yeah, it's gonna be a difficult build. We told her we cannot fold it, we cannot make it fold, but it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be gorgeous. We've already got the blueprints laid out for it, and it started, but it's gonna be pretty. But we like building stuff a lot, and that's another big thing. Get together and you just build stuff. Just if you guys just want to hang out and make swords, there's a lot. It's a lot of fun, and It's always messy, always very messy. You get little foam scrappies in your carpet that you can't get out for years. But my wife hates that.
Lay down a tarp.
Yeah.
Work.
I started doing all my stuff outside in a garage, so that way I'm like concrete floor, sweep it all up, don't care. But
Okay.
did you pull it up, Johnny?
Yeah, pull it up.
Are we
How
pulling
did you
up?
weight the
That
handles?
picture of that shield.
Oh.
How did you weight the handles?
We do a few different ways. Some people use bar stock, steel bars. Some people use washers in the pommels. I use wire, and I wrap the whole handle in wire. There's different ways. If you have hollow cores, like I have a 4 foot tall. It's not done yet. I should have brought it, even though it's not done. But it's a 4 foot tall mace,
And that's
4
that's
flames.
maybe a
Looks like
wood
Sauron's
plastic
mace
thing.
from Lord of the Rings.
That's in wood.
And
That's
it is
actually-
a 1 inch fiberglass carbon fiber
Oh, okay.
composite
Well,
hollow tube.
Yeah, it looks so real.
Yeah.
And
so.
it has steel bolts in each end. It's got a 2 foot steel bolt in the pommel and a 1 foot steel bolt in the head.
Tell them about pain.
And yeah, when we first started, I made a mace that was PVC, 3/4 PVC, and sand. It weighed about 35 pounds, and it was scary. But we've come a long way since then. But
Also, this,
as far as as far as all the weapons go, though, weighting them,
Oh,
you can
okay.
do however you
Yeah.
want, as long as no metal is exposed and you don't use metal for the actual core itself.
But you can have a piece up at the tip, or is that way?
Up here, no.
No, I mean, like near the top, like you said, there was a bolt in the.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was covered up. Like, if it's hollow, if it's a hollow core that you use, yeah, you can like put a bolt in there to weight the end, just to make it heavier. As long as that bolt, the majority of it's covered by the core,
Okay.
then it's fine. But for like most of the time when we do smaller swords like this, they're all solid fiberglass, so there's no real way to. You can't put anything in it. So, but they before weight, they usually come out around 9 ounces, but it has to be 12. So we do what we can to get it up. And red swords have to weigh 24 ounces. So you run into a little problem because this is what, almost 3 foot, like 2.5. You get 2.5, and you're only going another 1.5 foot. You know, and you got to add an additional sword weight to it. You run into some problems, so you have to really lay on the weight on the back end.
Gives them a good balance though.
It does give them a great balance. I have a red sword that when you hold the handle is about this long, and when you put your hand at the edge of the blade, it'll just sit there just like that, and you don't have to. I mean, perfectly balanced and super fast. I can wield it with one hand, no problem.
That way,
But
if
you
you
have
lose
to
an arm,
be
you
in
can still
combat,
swing
you
it.
can-
Yeah, it makes you more versatile. You know, when you go into combat and you're breaking shields, somebody snipes your arm, then you're like, well, I can still use it, and I don't have to. It's not so heavy that I can't, wield it properly.
But like you can't have a shield with that sword. Is that?
You can.
Well, you said that you have to use 2
You
hands.
do.
You can strap it to your.
Oh.
Strap
that's
shields.
That's a buckler.
A buckler. I actually created. They call that punch and pie. When you use a red and a shield, they call it punch and pie. And I created. Right. I know. I have a shield that has a 3/8 inch fiberglass core handle, so it's nothing. It barely sits in my hand. That way I can hold on to my sword as well. And if I run into a case where I have to throw a deep wrap shot on somebody, I can just let go and throw it in. And that way I don't have to worry about, I have to keep 2 hands on this, or, I can't really fight the way I need to.
A lot of people wear shields on their backs too.
Yeah, there's a lot of back shields. But,
It just
Yeah.
seems smart.
huh?
It just seems smart.
Yeah. But you can't have more than 1 shield either. You're only allowed to have 1 at any given time, unless a scenario
Calls
for it. Like, there's people who do, and this is another thing about the role play, there are knights in realms, and they're very highly respected across Dagorhir. If your name is, like, one of our buddies is a knight, and his name is Sir Kairos, and he is known as such in the realm and in Dagorhir community altogether, and they're highly respected.
people that don't even know him, just because they know that he's a knight, automatically respect him whenever they first meet him.
Because when Knights Trials happen, usually realms that put Knights together, do Knights Trials, are hard. And I'm talking seriously hard. We just started our Knights program. We just got big enough to do it. And so we have our first two squires to the realm. For us, they're called catifs. We're going off the hierarchy in Oblivion for the Daedra. And then once they become a knight, they'll be called a keenval. But they'll still carry the title Sir in front of their name. But for us, some of the requirements to become a knight are you have to give up two things, personal things. One of them for one of the squires is he carried a dome shield like a Spartan, a big, big dome shield, and it covered his whole body. He's a skinny little guy. And he could hunker down like this, and there's literally nowhere you could hit him, nowhere. He had to give it up. He had to give up his forward-facing shield. And he had to give up hard liquor. So he is not allowed to have anything above 15% alcohol in it. He can still get drunk. He can drink as much as he wants. He can drink as much beer as he wants to. I don't care. But he's not allowed to have anything above 50%. Some of the trials he has to do, you have to beat the person who you're squiring under in a game of chess, because that shows your knowledge, your ability to conceive situations. Then you have to fight 100 people, different people, and win at least 75 of the matches. And another thing is I tried to keep it as legitimate as possible. Knights back in the day, they had to do this, they call it the 3 H's. Heat, hunger, and humiliation. They went through a lot of hardships to become knights. And so what our guys do, we just kind of clumped it all into one thing, and at a battle, they have to take 2 logs about this big, and they're shackled to those logs, their feet are. And they have to carry them out, and they set them down, and we give them a bowl. And everybody in the realm comes through and scoops rice out, and it's the weight of responsibility from the realm that they have to carry. That's what it symbolizes. They're nothing but a loincloth on these posts with this bowl in the heat of the day, and they have to stand there for an hour and hold that weight, the weight of the struggles of the realm. They have to support that, because that's what a knight is. They're all for the realm. Anything they do it for the betterment of the realm.
Of everybody.
For everybody, yeah. So
you're really a servant more than you are anything.
yeah, but it's a huge responsibility, but it's also a huge honor that people really strive for, actually. And then they have to fight the Chimera, which is an army we put together to form a Chimera. So we've got an archer for the dragon's head, like it's breathing fire, a glaive for the snake tail, and then we have Florentiners for the claws. The heart is one of the scenarios where you're allowed to have 2 shields, because the heart stands in the middle with 2 shields like this tucked to his side. And the goal is you have to kill that Chimera by taking the heart out. So you have to wade through all those people and kill this guy with 2 shields. So it's not an easy task. But there are people out there who that's what they want. They want that respect level. They love the realm so much that they're gonna do it. So it's fun. It's a fun deal. The Knights thing is it's a lot of respect there. So, and this Dagorhir as a whole, just to get back on it, I know it's running a little long, but Dagorhir spans from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's kind of separated though. East Coast people usually fight East Coast people, and West Coast people usually fight West Coast people, just because of the whole, Dag's a poor man's LARP. So
Ragnarok's in the middle though.
So
everybody goes.
Yeah, so that's like the biggest battle in the nation. But I think last year there were 5,000 fighters on the battlefield at one time, and when the battle started, you could feel the ground shake. Nuts. And just chaos. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much DAG. I mean, it's a social. It's a
It's
social.
an experience.
It's an
It's kind of hard to
experience.
explain. You really
Yeah.
just gotta check it out.
Yeah. So, if you guys have any more questions or you're interested in
And there's a lot of videos online.
a lot, yeah. If you're interested in looking us up or anything, I have business cards right there with the Dagorhir website and our Facebook page and all that stuff. And so if you're interested, go ahead and grab one and look us up because we're
Go on.
always doing stuff, always.
Go on YouTube, look up Dagorhir Ragnarok.
Yeah,
At least one of those videos. You'll see how
You'll get
big.
a good feel for it.
yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot of fun, and I definitely think it's something that everybody should check out at least once. So,
And everybody that goes is just looking to have a good time.
yeah. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you. Thank you very much.